Hi, hello everybody. Namaskaram. I think everybody is super fine. സുഖമല്ലേ മക്കളെ? And നിങ്ങളുടെ preparations ഒക്കെ നല്ല അടിപൊളിയായിട്ട് പോകുന്നതെന്ന് കരുതുന്നു. So now we comes up with the most demanded session for the June 25 students, CFR students. Ready? Our MCQ mega marathon discussions. So remember in this session we cover the areas which is surely testing for 30 marks in your exams, which we take only very less time. So for that we prepared well, structured well, organized well. We have a PDF which we cover more than 200 plus questions in a very less time. For that we prepared all the questions and answers in chapter wise order. So in this session we cover all previous attempt and MCQs, MTP questions, ICMAI, MCQ booklet and some other source which especially for in this. ഈ സെഷനിൽ നമ്മൾ കവർ ചെയ്യുന്ന വീഡിയോ ചാപ്റ്റർ വൈസ് ആയിട്ടായിരിക്കും. സോ ആസ് യൂഷ്വൽ just like level 1, in level 1 we discussed each standards, and level 2 valuation, business combination, consolidation, and level 3. Ready? Now before seeing this video, to get the PDF, first you have to join on the WhatsApp group. If you're not yet joined, you just WhatsApp on the number given in the description. So now itself. Ready? And then most of the talks will be in English and Malayalam, so it will be okay for both Malayali and non-Malayali students. Don't worry. And as I always say, I'll respect your time, so we only take very less time, but we cover maximum quality. For that I prepared all the questions in a chapter wise order alongside the answer key hints. Ready? So in on screen we take very less time. Ready? So okay, todangam. Okay, now so first part, level 1 in the yes. Ready? Out of that, the first standard we usually take in the yes 16. That is our first MCQ chapter. Ready? So remember, in PP we usually seeing some MCQs which is testing in exam. So they will give some original codes, and after a couple of years they will change some estimational changes in remaining useful life and residual value, and sometimes some revaluation. After that, in coming years, what is the depreciation? This is a usual cliche question in PP. So B Limited owns an asset with an original cost of 2 lakh, and on acquisition management determined the useful life is 10 years and residual value is 20,000. So that's the original part. But the asset is now 8 years old, and during this time there have been no revision. That means until 8 years there is no changes. But at the end of 8 years, that means after 8 years, management reviewed the useful life and the residual value, and now useful life is extended to 12 years. That means total year is 12 years. So that means now after 8 years we only have 4 year remaining life. So as a part of maintenance program, the residual value will reduce to 10,000. That is a new residual value. So what is the depreciation for 9th year? It's a very easy question. So first, in this type of question, first we have original cost, which is 2 lakh minus depreciation for 8 years, which we can calculate. 2 lakh is the original cost minus original scrap value is 20,000 divided by 10 years into 8 years. Then we'll get 8 year depreciation, which will be this 1,44,000. Then you will get the carrying amount at the end of 56th, at the end of 8th year. Carrying amount will be 56. Ready? And the depreciation for the 9th year will be based on this new revised new carrying amount. This is the remaining carrying amount minus revised scrap value divided by remaining useful life. Then you will get this. So the option B is the answer. Ready? So moving on to similar kind of questions. So on April 2090, R Limited purchased equipment for 4 lakh. On that date of installation, the machinery has a useful life of 10 and residual value is 40,000. Accordingly, the annual depreciation will be 36, because 4 lakh is the original cost minus scrap value divided by 10. So that they give in the question itself. Ready? On April 23, that means after 4 years. After 4 years, the company decided to review the useful life and residual value. So as per the technical experts consult, the remaining useful life as on this date was 7 years. So those are new. And the residual value is compute the revised annual depreciation for the next year. So there's the same kind of question. We have original cost, and when we'll deduct 4-year depreciation, since they gave 1-year depreciation, 36 into 4, you just use a calculator. Only you try by using calculator itself, because in MCQ we only have very less time in exam. So try to practice by your calculator and just keep a ref pages, newsprint while you're seeing this video. Ready? Just practice. Ready? And then after 4 years, your carrying amount is 2,56,000. So the next year depreciation will be, these are remaining carrying amount minus revised scrap value is 46. Item less 7 years. So then we'll get 30,000. Clear? So the option D is a correct answer. So now the similar kind of question is question 3. I'm not doing it. I just give all the solution. You just have because same kind of question. Ready? That's it. For the practice, you must go through this kind of question. Ready? Now I just give a question related to exchange. Ready? It's a usual question they're testing in some of the past test papers. Narmada owns a machinery which is carried in its balance sheet at 15 million. So that is an old building's carrying amount. Fair value is 22.5. Ready? It exchanged this machinery for building having a fair value of 30 million. Ready? And pays an additional cash of 4.5 million. Ready? So now remember, as per the index, what is a profit on exchange? So if they ask profit, then always think what is the carrying amount of older machinery and fair value of old. So what is the difference? So the difference is 22.5 million versus 15. Then you will get 7.5 million. So answer is A, which is very easy. Clear? That's it. Now the next one. Core has a plant and machinery with 1,20,000. So same kind of question. Ready? So sorry, it's not a same kind. I'll read it. 2022 April 1,20,000 ആണ് carrying amount. Useful life is 10, out of which 4 years remains on that date. That means 6 years is expired. Ready? The company decides to revalue the plant to 2 lakh. So now there will be a upward revaluation of 80,000, which is recognizing revaluation reserve. Calculate the depreciation to be accounted in P&L. So remember, in Index 16 we learned additional depreciation due to revaluation shall be transferred from revaluation reserve to P&L. So how much is the depreciation to be charged to P&L? So in P&L we only charge the normal depreciation. So extra depreciation will be taken from revaluation reserve. This is what we learned, right? So for easy way, this is a calculation. How much was our normal depreciation? You check. If there was no revaluation, ഈ revaluation ഒന്നും ഇല്ലായിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ എത്രയാകും മക്കളെ ഒരു വർഷത്തെ നോർമൽ ഡെപ്രിസിയേഷൻ? അത് ഓൾഡ് ക്യാരിങ് എമൗണ്ട് ആയ 1,20,000 minus scrap value 0 divided by 4, we'll get 30. Ready? So there's a easy way. But remember, if they ask additional depreciation due to revaluation, then what we have to do? Then tell me what is a additional depreciation? A symbol. What is the upward revaluation divided by remaining useful life 20,000? And if you ask what is the total depreciation after this revaluation, which will be easy, 2 lakh divided by 4, you will get 50. So in short, out of this 50, we take 30,000 into P&L and 20,000 into revaluation reserve. Clear? That's it. Now we have a theoretical kind of question. Cost of a PPE shall be recognized. Sorry. So here the answer I read. cost, it should be cost, shall be recognized only if it is probable that future economic benefit associated with will flow and the cost can be measured reliably. So in short, you see that recognition criteria for assets. So there's a two conditions. So they're just asking a fill in the blank item. So the option A is the correct answer. Ready? Clear. Now similar in this 16 does not apply to which of the following? PP classified as held for sale. Ready? So the standard does not applicable for PP classified for held because it has a separate standard. Then biological asset related to agricultural activity. നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് ഇൻ ദ 16 ബയോളജിക്കൽ അസറ്റ്സ്, അതുപോലെ 105 കവർ ചെയ്യുന്ന അസറ്റ്സ്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ മിനറൽ ഐറ്റം, ഇതിനൊന്നും എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല, അപ്ലിക്കബിൾ ആവുന്നില്ല. സോ ആൻസർ ഡി ഇസ് a correct answer. Ready? Then PP are initially recognized at cost. So the C is a correct answer. So this number is just changed. That's okay. C. Ready? Or in this part G. Clear? That's it. Now moving on. So there's a next question. The similar kind of question we tested. There's a usual question, so I'm not reading it again. Clear? That's it. So now we have a thrilling question. You take question 10. Ready? A PPE costing 25 lakh. So that's the original cost and ready for use, which is brought to use on 21 April 1st. But this was put to use on 1st April 22. So you know that depreciation start to charge when the asset become ready to use itself. Ready, not put to use. This is very clearly learned. Clear? Now total physical life is 20, but we want economic life for depreciation, right? So company considers likely that it will sell the property after 10 years. So this is the economic life because they have a plan to sell it. That means they will replace it. So after 10 years. So that means that is a economic life. Clear? That's it. Now after charging depreciation, the estimated residual value in 10-year time is 5 lakh. So there's a original scrap value and there's a original life and there's a original cost. After charging depreciation for 4 years, remaining useful life of property is reassessed as 8 years. So and the residual value is re-estimated as 9 lakh and the property is revalued upward by 80,000. അതായത് 4 വർഷത്തിന് ശേഷം എന്ത് ചെയ്യാണ്, residual value residual value is estimated as 9 lakh and property എന്ത് ചെയ്യാണ്, upward revaluation നടത്തുകയാണ് and 8 years ആണ് remaining useful life. Now from the 6th year, that means this changes happen after 4 years, but now the question is turning into 6th year. Company decide to adopt written down value method by charging depreciation. That means until 5th year they followed SLM. Ready? Now from 6th year onwards they want to convert into WDV. Calculate depreciation for 6th year. So remember, to calculate WDV depreciation, you require the opening WDV of 6th year. So first what we have to do, we calculate the carrying amount after 4 years. For that, original cost minus 4 years depreciation, which is 25 lakh minus 5 lakh divided by 10 into 4. Then you will get 4-year depreciation. Ready? Then carrying amount is 70 lakh and on that date, that means after 4 years, there is a upward revaluation which is 80,000. So upper revised carrying amount is 17.8 lakh. Now for the next year, depreciation will be calculated on this remaining amount minus new scrap value which is 9 lakh divided by remaining life. So the next year depreciation will be 1.1 lakh. So there's a usual question. അതായത് 4 വർഷം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് 5ാമത്തെ വർഷത്തെ ഡെപ്രിസിയേഷൻ എന്താ എന്നുള്ളതാണ് പൊതുവേ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഉണ്ടാവാറ്. പക്ഷെ ഇത്തവണ അതല്ല, അഞ്ചും കഴിഞ്ഞ ആറാമത്തെ വർഷത്തിൽ ഓപ്പണിംഗ് WDV ആണ് വേണ്ടത് എങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? ഈ 17.8 നിന്നും 1.1 കുറച്ചാൽ you will get 16.7. Then depreciation for next year will be this opening WDV into 20%. So then you will get 3.34. That means none of the above is a correct answer. Those are tricky question. Ready? I really love this question. Clear? That's it. Okay, that's it. Ready? Now, similar kind of tricky question we have. Junjunwala has a PPE with a book value of 25 lakh. That's a book value we have on this date. But they gave last year property was revalued upward by 3 lakh. Ready? 3 lakh. Ready? That's it. And the increase of that asset was recognized in revaluation surplus. That means last year 3 ലക്ഷത്തിന്റെ upward revaluation നടന്നിരുന്നു. In last year they made a upward revaluation and then there will be a revaluation reserve balance of 3 lakh. Now the fair value as of result on 31st March 22 was 21 lakh. Now remember, after 1 year, that means on 31st March, the book value is 25 lakh. Remember? So even before that 31st March 22, 1 year ago, they made first time revaluation, upward revaluation 3 lakh. But now on after 1 year, on 31st March 22, they make the second time revaluation, which is a downward revaluation. So they have a carrying amount of 25. Now the fair value is 21. So now first time upward revaluation, which is 3 lakh. Now second time downward revaluation, which is 4 lakh. So now what is the question? Calculate the amount to be recognized to P&L. Remember, when we make a first time upward but the second time downward, usually downward revaluation we debit to P&L. However, if balance are there in revaluation reserve, first we debit to revaluation reserve. So only the rest of the balance will be debited to P&L. Clear? So in short, the option B is a correct answer. And the entry will be for this downward revaluation will be this, just for the reference. Clear? That's it. Now there is another kind of question. Pluto Limited, a land and building which carried in its balance sheet as 10 million. So they have a land and building of 10 million. The fair value of land and building is 15 million. Ready? Now it extends the land and building for a private jet. That is a new asset. That's a new asset which has a fair value of 20 million. Clear? So and pays a additional cash of 3 million. Ready? So now first part, calculate the profit on exchange. So the similar kind of question we already done. Ready? So always remember, to get the profit or on exchange, you compare what is a carrying amount of old versus fair value of old. So which is 5 million, because 15 million is a fair value of old item and 10 million was a old carrying amount. Ready? Then we will get 5 million. Now if the question is calculate cost of new asset, remember we said cost of new asset whenever we make an exchange, first priority is the fair value of assets given up. So here, what are the assets we given up? We given up a building and 3 million cash. So the fair value of building is 15 and we made an extra cash of 3. So in total 15 million plus 3 million, total 18 million. So that is a cost. B is the next answer. Clear? Ready? Very easy kind of question. And then there's a similar kind of question. I'm done. Just like after a couple of years, they will have some changes in useful life and revaluation. Same kind of question. I'm not doing. You can check with the answer. If you want, you can check with the answer. Ready? That's it. So apart from that, we done all the questions in there 16. There's a maximum question, so usually they're testing one or two questions from in this 16. Now we coming into impairment. Ready? So that's it. A Limited has an original cost of 45,000, accumulated depreciation is 15,000. Then similar machine has been sold. So that means now the carrying amount is 30,000. Now similar machine has been sold 25 with the selling. So that means fair value less cost to sell is 23,000. And what is the present value of future cash flow? 28,000, which is a value in use. So now what is the impairment loss? Very easy. Carrying amount is 30. Recoverable amount being higher 28. So impairment loss will be 2,000. Very easy kind of question. Answer D. Ready? So remember, I'm doing this as much as fast, but I'll never compromise the quality, because taking too much on time on the screen is not fair at the final level. Ready? This is what I usually say. Ready? So for that, I put all the questions in chapter wise and I gave the answer, and I gave the answer details. So for your reference, you can go too fast. So just come with me with a calculator, but you have to reverse all the chapters before this video. Just saying. Now coming into the next question. Clear? Details of this, a tricky question. I really love this question. Clear? It's a star rated question. Details of an asset are as under. Original cost is 60 lakh. Ready? The total useful life is 10 years. Salvage is 4 lakh. So this is the original part. Now useful life is 3 years. That means total we have 10 years. Out of that, currently 7 years is expired. Now we are on the 7th year end. So now we have 3 years remaining. Ready? But they gave upward revaluation done in the last year by 50%. So now that's a point. So last year means 6th year. That means currently we are in 7th year end, but 1 year ago they made an upward revaluation of 50% of what? 50% of carrying amount at the end of 6 years. So this is a tricky part of the question. So if you read it fast, you can't simply comprehend. That's why I'm detailing it. Clear? Now current value in use. Current value in means the value in use on 7th year end. That is a current date. And current selling price is 11. Current disposal. That means value in use is 12. And 10 is the fair value less cost to sell. What is the impairment loss? So for that, impairment loss charged to P&L account. So remember the treatment of impairment loss. If there is a revaluation reserve, then we debit to revaluation reserve. Otherwise, we will debit to P&L. So here, first you calculate total impairment loss. Then out of that, how much we debit to revaluation reserve and how much we debit to P&L. Right? That's it. So now I'm doing the sum. Ready? So remember, we have an original cost of 60 lakh. Ready? Now, first, at this point, we have to calculate the carrying amount. That means 6 year end carrying amount, which is easy. We deduct 6 year depreciation. Based on this, 60 lakh is the original cost minus scrap value 4 lakh divided by 10 into 6. You will get 33.6. Then if you deduct this, then you will get this as a carrying amount. Now, the 50% of this 26.4 has been revalued upward. That means 13.2 lakh. So now the revised carrying amount at the end of year 6 will be 39.6 lakh. Clear? Now the depreciation for the 7th year will be 8.9, which will be on remaining carrying amount minus at the end of 6th year we have a remaining life of 4 years. Ready? So, and no change to a residual value 4. Ready? Then we'll get 8.9. So now at the end of 7th year, then we will have a balance carrying amount of 30.7. At that time, they make an impairment loss. So on that date, the fair value in use is a higher amount, so which is a recoverable amount. Now the impairment loss is 18.7 lakh. But remember, out of 18.7 lakh, we have an upward revaluation done in last year, 13.2 lakh. Ready? So we have a revaluation balance, reserve balance of 13.2 lakh. So the only rest of the balance, that means 5.5, will be taken to P&L. Ready? Okay, so in this part, students may have a doubt. എന്താ മക്കളെ ഡൗട്ട് വരാൻ സാധ്യത എന്നറിയോ? അതായത് നമ്മൾ ലാസ്റ്റ് ഇയറിൽ 13.2 lakh റീവാലുവേഷൻ റിസർവ് ബാലൻസ് ഉണ്ടാവുമല്ലോ. റെഡി? പക്ഷെ സാറേ ആ ഇയറിൽ അഡീഷണൽ ഡെപ്രിസിയേഷൻ ഡ്യൂ ടു റീവാലുവേഷൻ കുറച്ചാൽ ഇത്രയും ബാലൻസ് ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടാവില്ലല്ലോ എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ഡൗട്ട് സ്വാഭാവികമായിട്ട് ഇവിടെ വരുന്നതാണ്. സോ റിമെമ്പർ, usually remember here after this revaluation, in the very next year we charging impairment loan. So in such cases we will never bother additional depreciation, because even before charging that additional depreciation we charge impairment loss. Hey, you get my points? That means we done the revaluation in year 6. Then in very next year, year 7, we make impairment loss. So in year 7, first we charge impairment loss. At that time, we have a balance of 13.2 lakh. So then only we will make any adjustment entry for depreciation. This is what usually the standard prefer. But remember, so in coming years, if we make eighth year we make an impairment loss, then we have to mind the additional depreciation for 2 years. Ready? So remember, so in question, if after 1 year of revaluations they are not minding that additional depreciation, but after a couple of years then they have impairment loss, then we have to mind that additional depreciation from revaluation reserve. അതായത് നമ്മൾ അപ്വേർഡ് റിവാലുവേഷൻ റിസർവ്സ് നടത്തി ഒരു കൊല്ലം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ്, വെരി നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇയറിലാണ് ഇമ്പാർമെന്റ് ലോസ് ചാർജ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെങ്കിൽ ആ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് റിവാലുവേഷൻ റിസർവ് ബാലൻസും അവിടെ എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് ആണ് എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിലാണ് നമ്മൾ കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഹാൻഡിൽ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. This is what usually the questions answers seeing. Clear? Ready? But after a couple of years we have to mind that additional depreciation. Clear? Ready? That's it. Okay. Now coming into the next question, which is an easy question. Earth Limited have purchased an equipment 50 lakh. The useful life is 5 years and the residual value is 1 lakh. The company adopts an SLM type of depreciation. After year 1, they made an impairment test and fair value less cost to sell value in use, having regard what is the impairment loss, which is very easy. So because we can check the item, similar kind of question we done in this, sorry, not exact similar, so I'll do, don't worry. Ready? So remember, we have an original cost of 51 lakh. Ready? Minus depreciation for 1 year. So how much you will get? You just check 50 minus 1 lakh divided by 5. You will get 9.8 lakh. So what is the carrying amount at the end of year 1? Then you will get 51 minus 9. You will get 41.2. Now how much is the recoverable amount? Recoverable amount is being higher 36. Then you will get 5.2. That is the impairment loss. Ready? Okay, but which is not in the list, so option D is the answer. Answer D is the correct part. Clear? Now, similar kind of question they tested, but this time they gave amount, they changed 51. Now this is 1 lakh. Now the same pattern of question. I'm not doing, you just refer, you will get the answer C. Ready? Okay, now we have a nice question. Sky operates a production line which is treated as cash generating unit for impairment review. So there is a CGU. So there is a CGU. CGU is a mix of collective assets. You know that. As on 31st March, the carrying amount of assets comprised in that CGU, goodwill and plant and machinery total. So remember, we have a CGU. In that, നമുക്കൊരു goodwill ഉണ്ട് and plant and machinery ഉണ്ട്. Total carrying amount 2,50,000. അന്നത്തെ recoverable amount എത്രയാണ്? 1,75,000. So at that time, what is the impairment loss of the CGU is 75. Now, what is the revised carrying amount? That's a question. So here they're testing the allocation of impairment loss. So remember, the 75 is the total. Out of that, first we allocate goodwill. If there is a goodwill in the CGU, first we will allocate to goodwill, then rest of the amount. So after this, the goodwill will be nil, goodwill value will be nil, and this has a 1,75,000 answer. So the answer B is the correct answer. Ready? You can check it. Clear? That's it. Now the similar kind of the same kind of question I'm tested. I'm not doing it. So same question we done. Now we have the last, not the last, but the asset type of standard, asset based standard, intangible asset, which is in this 38. Galaxy is developing a new production process during the year 31st March 22. Total expenditure was 50 lakh. So remember, during this year, that means 21-22, what is the total cost? 50. But out of that on 1st December 21, that is a date on recognition criteria made. So 22 is the expenditure till that date. So out of this 50, 22 spent before this criteria made. So we will take into P&L. So rest of 28 lakh will be capitalized. Ready? Now, further expenditure in next year they again spend 80 lakh. So total cost of asset will be 108. Ready? So after second year that will be. So now on 31st March 23, so the total cost will be 80 plus 28, 108. Now, as on that date, the recoverable amount is 72. So what is a impairment loss? Which is very easy. 108 is a carrying amount of intangible asset and recoverable amount. Then there will be impairment loss. So 36 is the right answer. Now, another. So in intangible asset, they usually testing a research and development treatment based MCQs. Ready? So Milkway Limited is conducting research in respect of attaching self-charging batteries in all its vehicles. So it has already got 50 lakh last year. Not in this current year. In last year, they spent 50 lakh. Now during 23-24, it incurs 5 lakh each month as a part of results. So last year they totally spent 15 lakh. Now current year they spend 5 lakh per month. Ready? Now on 1st May 23, during current year, after one month, during current year, after April, the directors found that research is successful and they're going to bring a cash flow of 300 lakh. That means on this date, condition is satisfied. This is what they're trying to say. Now that means during April, that means for 1 month still P&L, but for the 11th month 5 lakh into 11 month will be capitalized. So which will be 55 lakh will be capitalized during that year. Ready? Now, they're going to bring additional cash flow. That means the value in use is 300, which is far more than the carrying amount. So there is no impairment loss. So the calculate the impact of about transaction in the financial year. So that means during this year, what is the impact? Hey, during this year, in last year they spent 50 lakh, which is taken to P&L. But the question is during 23. So during 23, 5 lakh taken to P&L, 55 lakh will be capitalized. Ready? That's it. Okay. So the option C is the correct answer. Clear? So they are not asking the total impact. They're just asking current year impact. So not it. Clear? That's it. So that's all about that standard. The next asset type of standard in this 23. So we slightly moving on. So let's see the first question. So X Limited borrowed $6,000. So that's a total foreign loan. For qualifying asset, they specifically say, so foreign interest is 3% on this date. At that time, the exchange rate is 60. But the payment is due after 2 years. After 2 years, that means on 31st of March 23. The company could borrow the amount in rupees at 12% per annum. That means the notional interest is 12%. So the same loan could have been taken in India at 12%. So now interest payable on 31st March 23. Ready? That means that means interest will be payable on 31st March. Now the construction of asset will continue for the next 2 years. So now what is the question? If on 31st March 22, that means after 1 year, the exchange rate is 70, which of the following statement is not true? Ready? So remember, so during that year, what is the exchange loss? Exchange loss is out of 60 becomes 70. So into 6,060. So this is true. This is true. Ready? Now, what is the cost of borrowing in foreign currency? What is the actual borrowing cost in foreign currency will be? What is 6,000 into 3%? 6,000 into 3%. 6,000 into 3%, which will be in dollar. Ready? Now to convert into rupee, you have to convert with closing rate, because interest will be due on closing date. It cannot be converted by using spot rate. Ready? That's it. So now 180 into 70, you will get 12,600. Now that is also correct. Cost of borrowing in functional currency. That means if we taking in India, what will be the notional interest? For that, we will convert the loan amount in rupee first. So that we will get 6,000 into 60 into 12%, which is also correct. Now, cost of borrowing in foreign currency. That means same part of B, again asking. So here the changes, they multiplying with interest is calculating, converting into rupee by using opening rate or spot rate, which is wrong. Ready? Which is not correct. So what is the answer here? In interest will be due on closing date. Hence interest should be calculated based on closing rate, not based on the opening rate. That's a turning point. So the answer is B, which is not the correct. Rest of the option is correct. Clear? Now we have next part. A and B obtained a loan from bank 240. It was utilized for construction of shed, which is a qualifying asset, but machinery, which is not a qualifying asset, working capital, not a qualifying asset. Construction of shed is completed in 31st March 2060. The machinery was installed on the same date. So delivery truck was not received. So, okay. So I think they are not mentioning the truck details here. But let's say purchase of a truck would be for that also they use the loan. Ready? Now total interest charged for the year will be 36. Now interest debited to P&L. So that means That means out of that, here interest debited to P and L. Ready? So let's calculate the total loan amount is 240. Out of that, what is a qualifying asset? They spend 120. So the proportionately 80 lakh, which will be capitalized. So out of 36, 18 will be capital and 80 will be taken to P&L. So by that way, interest to P&L is also 18 lakh because 50-50. Ready? So this is the usual question they're testing. Only qualifying asset interest will be capitalized. Rest will be taken to P&L. You know it. Clear? Now moving on to the next one. Ready? On 1st April 23, building borrowed for 50 lakh at a rate of 12% per annum to finance a cost for construction of a building amounting to 50 lakh. So construction commenced on 1st Jan, opening date. Not all the cash borrowed was used immediately. So the interest income is 75,000 was generated by using temporary investing some of the borrowed funds prior to use. So if you have any temporary income from surplus fund, then while you calculate the borrowing cost, you have to deduct it. You remember this by law. Ready? So the project was completed after 10 months. That means 1st Jan 23 was a starting and the project was completed on 31st October 23. We have a 10-month duration. So what is the carrying amount of building? So here we're taking an assumption that this 10-month is a substantial period, and by that way qualifying asset, because in most of the part we discussed if nothing is mentioned, we take it as qualifying asset. Ready? So this is what we discussed in class. And the class discuss edana. I'm not repeating. So here we taking qualifying asset. So out of that 10-month interest we can capitalize, but out of that total borrowing cost 75,000 will be deducted. So here borrowing cost for 10 months will be capitalized minus 75. So 50 lakh into 12% into 10 divided by 12 minus 75, you will get 4 lakh 25. So what is the total cost of building? So here cost of building is 50 plus borrowing cost will be capitalized. So the B part is the answer. Clear? Now another question. Foreign loan related exchange loss related question. Harish has taken a loan of $22,000 at 5%. Interest payable, which is annual, on 1st April exchange rate is 45, closing rate is 48. Had Harish borrowed a corresponding amount from India at the rate of 11. That's a notional functional currency rate is 11%. What is the exchange loss to be capitalized? Not the total borrowing cost to be capitalized. They asking what is the exchange loss to be capitalized, which is, for that we have to follow that 5 steps. Ready? First we calculate the actual interest. For that 22,000 into 5% into closing rate, which is 48. The notional interest is 22,000 into opening rate. Then you will get the total Indian loan amount into Indian rate. Ready? Then get notional. What is the interest saving? Now what is the exchange loss? Exchange loss is 48 minus 45 into 22,000, total 66,000. Ready? That is the exchange loss. Now remember, our exchange loss, we only capitalize the lower of interest saving or exchange loss, which is lower. So here lower, out of this lower is 56,100. So we will capitalize the exchange loss 56,100. But remember, if question was borrowing cost to be capitalized, then actual interest, which is 52,800, plus exchange loss to be capitalized, which is 56,100. In total it will be 108,900. So here they specified exchange loss, but if it was borrowing cost, we will have option B. So I think are okay. Apart from that, we done 4 standard. Now we have an easy question in easy standard in this 108, which is a favorite standard of student. നിങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എളുപ്പമുള്ള സ്റ്റാൻഡേർഡ് ഏതാണെന്ന് ചോദിക്കുമ്പേ ഇതാണ് പറയും. കാരണം എന്താ പറയുക, ഇത് വെരി ലെസ് വോളിയാണെന്ന്. റെഡി? ഓക്കെ, തുടങ്ങാം. എ ലിമിറ്റഡ് അത് മതിയില്ലേ നമുക്ക്. ഫോളോയിങ് ഡാറ്റ റിലേറ്റഡ് ടു 6 segment A, B, C, D, E, F. Ready? Now they're giving segment asset, no problem. Segment result, but there is a loss, so we have to take higher. Now segment revenue, and there is an additional clarity. Deferred tax included in the assets of each segment. So remember, while we defining segment asset, we excluded deferred tax. So for that, we have to deduct this deferred tax asset from the, then we will calculate the rest of the segment asset. Based on that, what is the identify the reportable segment. Ready? So this is an easy question, I'm not repeating. So here we have to deduct all the deferred tax asset, then we'll get 180 here. I'm not doing, I think you could do that. Ready? So that's it. So you deduct deferred tax asset, then you calculate the total of this excluded total, then you compare 10%. Just compare, and here in segment result you take higher of loss or profit. I think here higher total will be loss, so then multiply with 10%. If you are covering more than 10%, just ignore plus or minus or loss or profit. Ready? Then segment, out of that the answer will be A, B, C, D. Ready? D will be the answer. Ready? Sorry, A, B, C, E. Clear? That's it. So since it's a easy question, I'm not repeating. If total external revenue reported by operating segment constitutes a dash of the entity's revenue, additional operation. Ready? That means if total external revenue is less than 75, that's a substitute condition in segment reporting. Ready? For being reportable segment, we have 3 major condition and a substitute condition. Out of that, this is a easy part. Clear? That's it. Now we are moving on to in this 116 lease part. Ready? Okay, now we have in this 116, that's at another important standard. So company takes a machine on lease for term for 6 years at a lease rent of 4 lakh. So that's annual lease payment payable at the end of each year with a guaranteed and unguaranteed. Total residual value is 3 lakh. What is a gross investment? Remember, gross investment means the total of all receivables for the lessor. Ready? That means annual lease payment is 4 lakh. 4 lakh into 6 plus what is the total residual value? So which is 27 lakh. So gross investment means without calculating present value, what is the aggregate amount of all inflows. Ready? That's it. So 27. So option D is the answer. Now Ora Limited has a machine with a fair value of 1,65,000 for a period of 5 years under a finance lease. So this is a finance lease. The fair value is 165. The initial direct cost is 125. The present value of minimum lease payment discounted at an IRR is this. Under requirement of 116, what is the amount of machine to be recognized in financial statement? So remember, when you take an asset on lease, what is the basic journal entry you pass? ROU to lease liability. At this time, what is the amount you will recognize in asset? Ready? That's it. So remember, at that time you will record what is the present value of lease payment plus initial direct cost. Ready? So here 158,400 plus 1250. So how much you will get? So just a minute. How much you will get? You will get 158,400 plus 1250. You will get 159,650, which will be the answer. Clear? Ready? Okay, that's it. Set. Ready? Now we have the next question, which is a tricky question, good question. So this we done in classrooms. Almost all the question we tested in classrooms. Ready? But when you doing it as together, the level of confidence will be extremely high. Ready, especially when you revise all this point just before the exam, your level of confidence, because you can recollect all the points together. Ready? Now, Amla Tulasi initiated a lease of 5 years in respect of equipment costing. So the equipment has a cost of this. Life is 8 years. So the asset would revert to Bharat Limited under. That means no automatic ownership. The UGRV is after expiry of lease term is 2 lakh. So they gave the UGRV. The IRR is 15%. The annual payment have been determined in such a way that the present value of payment plus residual value is equal to cost of asset. So remember. So here they don't give annual lease payment. So we have to calculate it as tricky. Calculate the unearned finance income, for that the present value factor. So here, which is very easy. So we calculate annual lease payment first. For that, for the first 5 years, annual lease payment not given, but the cumulative present value, you just calculate all the total of this, then you will get this, and you don't get PV because they don't give cash flow, annual payment. But the residual value, UGRV is 2 lakh. Ready? So, right, that's it. So, now they give a clue that annual payment structure in such a way that the present value of lease payment plus residual value. That means they don't give GRV. So we just assume we only have UGRV. So UGRV plus annual lease payments present value will be equal to cost of asset. Will be equal to cost of asset, which is so. Now we can do it in reverse order. Ready? So once you deduct this, you will get this divided by this, then you will get this. So you will get annual lease payment 10 lakh. So to calculate unearned finance income, gross investment minus net investment. So here annual lease payment 10 lakh into 5 plus 2 lakhs. Here we have 2 lakh. Ready? That's it. 2 lakh, just a minute. Ready? 2 lakh. Clear? That's it. Minus 34. Then you will get this. So which will be the answer? Option D. Clear? The same kind of test question we tested in classrooms. Settle makale. Ready? Now the same kind of question they tested. Ready? So in other exams, so I'm not repeating the same question. You do yourself and check the answer. Clear? Ready? Now apart from that, we done that standard also. Now we coming into in this 115 revenue from contract with customers. So ready? Out of that, the first question, X Limited sell goods to Y Limited, a retailer, at 100 per item. Now Y Limited in turn sells the goods to public at large through its chain of retail outlets at 120. അതായത് നമ്മുടെ എക്സ് വൈ ലിമിറ്റഡിന് സെൻഡ് ചെയ്ത് കൊടുക്കും, വൈ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും കസ്റ്റമർ. സോ ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് ഹിയർ ഇറ്റ്സ് എ കൺസൈൻമെന്റ് ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ. എക്സ് ഈസ് എ കൺസൈനർ, വൈ ഇസ് എ ഏജന്റ് ആൻഡ് ദ കസ്റ്റമർ. സോ now and any inventory remaining unsold can be returned by y. That means അതൊരു consignment agent principal transaction ആണെന്ന് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാണ്, എൻഷുർ ചെയ്യാണ്. കാരണം സ്റ്റോക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും വിൽക്കാതെ കിടക്കുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് എക്സ് ലിമിറ്റഡിന് മാറ്റും. Now as per in this, revenue should be recognized by the consignor only when the stock is sold by agent to customer. So here the revenue can be recognized only when who is the agent? Y is sold at 120. So then only they can recognize the revenue. So here in consignment transaction, consignor can recognize the revenue only when the agent sold goods to customers. So here when X is selling goods to Y, no, we cannot recognize. So this is a perfect answer. You can check it. Ready? That's it. Now the next question is, Alagan Nanda is engaged in manufacturing and selling of designer furniture. It sells goods at an extended credit. Ready? So that's it. Now remember here they're selling goods on an extended credit, or extended credit means more than normal credit period, more than normal credit period. So here they sold goods to a customer on this date and the payment is settled after 12 months. So remember, in India is 115. Well, we calculate in the TP, if the payment is collecting after normal, more than the period of normal credit periods, that means after 12 months here, then we have to recognize the TP into two bifurcation. First one, revenue from sale, which can be recognized at the time of delivery, but the rest of total TP minus present value of TP will be taken as finance income. Clear? That's it. So here, for that, remember, here the payment against which was receivable after 12 months with an interest rate of 3%. അതായത് ഈ കസ്റ്റമർക്ക് കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ അയാളോട് 3% ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. 3% charging with the customer. So customer has to pay 80 lakh plus 3%. So that will be the total TP. Clear? Now, what is the market rate? Normal rate of interest is 8%. That means that is the interest rate we have to take to calculate present value. Ready? Now calculate the amount of revenue to be recognized. Revenue from sale and finance income. For that, first we have to calculate total TP, which is 80 lakh plus 3%. Most of the students will make mistake. They only take TP is 80. No. Customer order ഇവിടെ 80 lakh plus 3% charge ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. Ready? So total amount will be 82 lakh 40. Out of that, revenue from sale will be the present value of receivable. So other 82 lakh 40 into present value factor for 1 year at the rate 8%. So when you multiply it, or you strictly divide 82 lakh 40 divided by 1.08, then you will get 76 to 9,630. So this will be the revenue from sale, and the rest of the amount, this will be the interest income. So the option C is the correct answer. Clear? That's it. Okay. Now the next question. On 1/8 August 1st, A Limited enter into a contract with a hotel for daily sanitization for building for 3 years at 12,000 per month. ഇതൊരു കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് സപ്ലൈ സർവീസ് ആണ്. റെഡി? ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് എ വൺ മൊമെന്റ് ഡെലിവറി. സോ അറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് ടൈം റെവന്യൂ വിൽ ബി റെക്കഗ്നൈസ്ഡ് ബേസ്ഡ് ഓൺ ദ പെർസെന്റേജ് ഓഫ് കംപ്ലീഷൻ. സോ ഹിയർ every month 12 months. So we can simply use SLM track. So the customer receives and consume benefit each day. So the determined revenue to be recognized in the first year. In the first year, we have 1st August to 31st March 22. We have 8 month. So 8 month into 12 will get 96. So the option C. Ready? Clear? That's it. So that's all about that part. Now we have another part. Okay, there's a question. They're testing based on construction contract. Ready? So Neem Tulsi, a firmer contract, provide the following details for the year end 31st March 23. The particulars and rupees given in lakhs. Fixed contract with price with an escalation clause. That means revenue will be increased based on any price changes. Ready? Will be based on the price changes. There will be some revisions in revenue. അതായത് നമ്മുടെ ഈ 1000-ൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ മാറ്റം ഉണ്ടാവും. എന്തിനനുസരിച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ കോസ്റ്റിൽ കൂടുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് ആദ്യം ഞങ്ങൾ പറയാണ് എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. റെഡി? നൗ വർക്ക് സർട്ടിഫൈഡ് 500, വർക്ക് നോട്ട് സർട്ടിഫൈഡ് 109. So that means total cost incurred is 609. So in accounting definition, work certified plus work uncertified will be claimed as cost incurred. We are not discussing SCM or costing. In costing, they only take cost work certified. Here we dealing actuals. Ready? Now, Out of that 609 includes 75 lakh, which is spent for material. That's okay, good. But out of that 75, out of which material is lying unused at the end of the period is 4 lakh. That means out of 609, 4 lakh is not used. So the real cost of a costing good is 605, because that's a closest stock we have. That is not the material consumed. Clear? Now estimated further cost 495. So progress payment received and progress payment to be received. Escalation in cost is 5%. Accordingly, the contract price is 5% increase. That means they incurred a cost which was increased 5%. So that total cost is this. This cost is after this 5%. അതായത് ആ മെറ്റീരിയൽ ഒക്കെ വാങ്ങുന്നത് 5% ഇൻക്രീസിന് ശേഷമാണ്. അങ്ങനെ 605 ടോട്ടൽ 605 വിത്ത് എ പ്രൈസ് ചേഞ്ച്. ബട്ട് അങ്ങനെ പ്രൈസ് ചേഞ്ചിൽ മാറ്റം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ ഇതും മാറ്റും. 1000 plus 5%. That will be the total revenue. Now, what is a question? Calculate the expected loss, not the current loss. Future expected loss to be recognized as per Ind AS 115. Remember, actually, നമ്മൾ ഈസ്റ്റ് കോൺട്രാക്ടേഴ്സിന്റെ കേസിൽ നമ്മുടെ ടോട്ടൽ ലോസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ, അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ I'll show you here percentage of completion is what is the cost incurred divided by total estimated. So cost incurred is 605 divided by total cost is 605 divided by 495. Then you will get 55%. Ready? Now the total revenue is 1050. Ready? Into 55%. We have to recognize 577.5. Now the cost is incurred 605. So remember here currently നമ്മുടെ റവന്യൂ 570 ഉള്ളൂ, നമ്മുടെ കോസ്റ്റ് 605 ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ കറണ്ട് ലോസ് എത്രയാണ്? 27.5. ആൻഡ് അപ്പാർട്ട് ഫ്രം ദാറ്റ്, ഈ കോൺട്രാക്ട് പൂർത്തീകരിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന ടോട്ടൽ revenues 1050 and total expense, which is 605 plus 495 will be 1100. So now we have a total loss of 50. So out of that, remember current loss is 27.5. So in short, in future when we completing this project, we will have some extra loss which will be 22.5. For that, in accounting we have to make provisions. So if we prepare the P&L scene will be like this. Total revenue to be recognized in this year, this. Expense 609, but we have a stock. So in short 605. Now we have to make a provision for future loss 22.5. So the total loss, because whenever there is a anticipation of future loss, we have to create a provision. This was a concept. Ready? Now net loss will be 50. So here the question is, what is the expected loss? That means expected future loss, which is 22.5. Clear? There's the answer. So this is a question we have. Clear? Ready? Now the next standard is in this 8. Ready? Accounting policy related. So we have a theory question. P Limited changes its method of valuation of inventories from weighted average to FIFO. We know that we have many methods of valuation of inventory. Ready? The accountant opines that in this 8 is applicable. Yeah, that's it. So P Limited should account this change as a change in accounting policy and it should be applied retrospectively. Ready? That's it. Clear? Now we have in this 21 U Limited declared following information. This is a usual question we see in this standard. Purchased goods on this date for US dollar 1 lakh and the rupee dollar quotation will be exchange rate rupee dollar quotations we have 78.6. On closing date we have to remeasure it. Now then we will have a loss because the rate goes up. Ready? Then again rate goes up. What is a gain or loss in 21-22. 21-22 means during this year end, what is the loss? So this will be the difference. Ready? 79 minus 78 point into 1 lakh. We'll have a 40,000 loss. Very easy. Similar kind of question we have. Again, we have. I'm not doing. You just check it. This here we will have profit. Ready? That's it. Okay. Now in this 102 share based payment. So on 1/4/22. Aura Limited granted 100 share options to each of 200 employees. The options will vest after 3 years, subject to condition that the employee remain in service for 3 years. And on 1st April, the fair value of one share option is 200, and this has increased to 240. But if it is equity option, we will take the fair value on the grant date. You know this. Ready? Now, on grant date, the directors estimate 180 employees would qualify for the options. That means, and on 31st March 23, that means first year end, the estimate is 190. So, what is the amount to be recognized for the first year, 22-23? So, remember here we have to take number of options into number of employees as per the estimation of year end, which is 190, into fair value on grant date into 1 divided by total vesting period is 3. Then we will get this. Clear? So option B is the right answer. Clear? Okay. Now we have in this, there's a usual question you can expect in SBP. That's the only. So in some of the standard, they don't have too much exposure in MCQs. Ready? That's it. That's why we only see some question in the last standards. Ready? Now in this 12 income tax, a company creates a provision for gratuity and leave engagement. Same question we done in classrooms. Ready? And recognize a liability of 50,000. There's the only difference between taxable profit and accounting profit. Company measures a current tax 48,000 of tax rate 25%. What is a tax expense? Simply tax expense we calculate, either directly calculate tax on accounting profit, but indirectly we can calculate by using formula current tax plus DTL or minus DTA. Now here we have a provision for liability. For that, a carrying amount is 50,000 and tax base is 0. So we have a temporary difference of 50,000 into 25%, that is a deferred. So since carrying amount is more than tax base and there's a liability, we will create DTA, which will be 12,000. How much? 50,000 into 25%, 12,500. So tax expense will be symbol 48,000 minus 12,500. We will get 35,500. Option A is the correct answer. Clear? Now we have in this 113 fair value measurement. Ready? Okay. So under this, in this 113 is deal with fair value measurement, which is an easy theoretical type of question. Which of the following are the objectives of 113? First, to set a framework for measurement of fair value, which is correct. Ready? And to specify the requirement of disclosure of fair value, which is also correct. Both A and B is correct, none of the above. So here both A and B is the objectives. So in given option, so C is the answer. Now in this 113 is applies to share based, no. Measurement related to in this 2, no. Ready? Related to fair value measurement, ready, which is option C, not for a D. Clear? That's a very easy type of question. So that's the way we have. So we finished all the standard related MCQ. Ready? So we done maximum questions. Usually they're testing in this in minimum times. Clear? Ready? Okay. Okay, that's it. Now the level 2 chapters items, we will take it as a separate part 2. So now we only have total 2 parts a video we will have. Out of that, part 1 was related to Ind AS. Now part 2 will be level 2 and level 3, which is very less time we take. Ready? That's it. Okay. Or ഏതാ മക്കളെ ബെറ്റർ? എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നത് കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ആയിട്ട് തന്നെ പോണോ? റെഡി? നമ്മൾ ലൈവിൽ ഇല്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് we continue. Ready? Because for the next part we will only take less time, so we go with the level 2. Ready? We're not breaking it, we only have one part. Ready? Now out of that, first chapter is goodwill and share valuation. There's a usual part we have. So first question, normal dividend expected on equity shares is 8%. So that means NRR of dividend is 8%. The profit available to equity, FMP is this, and the value of net asset for equity shareholders, that is a FAISH. That means funds available to equity. Calculate the value of equity share under fair value method. For that, you have to take an average of net asset value and earnings value. Ready? If number of outstanding is 1 lakh and face value is 10. Clear? That's it. So for that, first we have to calculate the intrinsic value, which is FAISH divided by number of shares, which is 40.82. Ready? Now earnings value we have to calculate. So remember, here they give FMP, they don't give dividend declared, so we can't go with dividend based valuation, we go with earning based, EPS based valuation. Sir, the NRR is given on dividend, but remember we said if earnings NRR is not given, we go with the given NRR. Ready? You know this one. So because DPS based valuation we cannot do, because dividend declared or dividend yield is not given, so we only have this choice. So here formula is earnings yield into paid up value divided by NRR. So earnings yield is equal to FMP divided by paid up share capital, which will be this, and now earnings yield divide into paid up value, which is 10, divided by NRR 8%. Ready? Then we'll get this. So earnings value will be this, and this is the intrinsic value. Now we take the average of it, then 44.36. Sorry, that's my clerical mistake. So I think that's a 36. Clear? Okay, 36. So option is the correct answer. Clear? Now a firm value goodwill under capitalization of profit, average profit for the past 4 years, but this is before tax. Capital employed is 4,80,000 and NRR is 12, tax is 20. What is a goodwill based on average profit capitalization? So based on that, you know the formula, average profit, that means FMP divided by NRR minus closing capital employed. So here FMP is before tax, so we have to convert into after tax. For that, 1 lakh minus 28% or slightly post tax 1 lakh 1 lakh into 72%, that is a post tax profit, divided by NRR 12% minus capital employed 4,80,000, then we will get 1,20,000, that is a goodwill. Very easy question. Now from the following particularly you are required to value the goodwill: super profit, NRR, present value. Annuity method, based on that, super profit into factor. Ready? Which is a very easy question. Ready? So you will get 4,50,000 into 0374, you will get 136,830. So the answer is D. Sorry, A is a correct answer. You can check it. Very easy kind of question. Now XY Limited as a partnership firm earned profit during past 5 years. Clear? So there's a profit. Determine the value of goodwill on the base of here we have a trend also. Clear? You check it. Determine the value of goodwill on 3 years purchase of weighted average profit of last 4 years, giving maximum weightage to the recent result. So we will apply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Then you check, you will get this answer. Simple. Ready? Weighted average based item. Clear? So we will calculate the total weighted profit divided by weights. Then we will get average weighted average profit into 3. You will get this profit. Clear? Now we have average trading profit for last 4 years is 7 lakh. Average capital employed is 45. NRR is 10%. Present value is this. Value of goodwill based on the annuity. So first here we have to calculate super profit. So here super profit is equal to FMP, which is 7 lakh minus 45 lakh into 10%. We will get 3 lakh is a super profit into present value factor. Ready? So the goodwill will be 3 lakh into 3.1699. Then how much you will get? Sorry, it's not 3 lakh, it is 2.5 lakhs. So we'll get 2.5 lakh into 3.1699. We'll get option B is a correct answer. Clear? That's it. Now the income approach for valuation of shares includes some models. Discounted cash flow. Actually in CFR, this discounted cash flow method was not testing too much, but that is also maybe you seen in SFM. Dividend discount model and maintainable profit, all of the above. So here all of the above is the answer. Now we have some theoretical touch of question. You just go through. Ready? I'm not reading it. So now that's all. Usually they will test a 1 or 2 question from valuation chapters. Ready? MCQ question. Now business combination and consolidation. Yet another problem chapter. Ready? That's it. Now let's see. C Limited acquired 60% interest in G Limited on Jan 60%, and there's a cash we paid. C paid 700 cash. Fair value of net asset will be 1800 minus 900. Compute the net asset. Sorry, NCI proportionate method. Ready? So here net asset, which is 900 into 40% will get how much? 360. Clear? So very easy question. Then another A acquires B 70% shares for this, and fair value of non-controlling interest is 12 lakh. Now value of assets and measured in accordance with index is 8 lakh. How much is the goodwill? So very easy. So goodwill can be calculated as cost of investment plus NCI minus net asset, which is 8. Ready? Then we'll get 17.5 plus 2L minus 8. We'll get 21.5. Option A is the correct answer. Clear? Now X is acquired. This is we discussed. Nammade business combination chapter la consolidation question ennu paranjittu njan class il ninnu discuss cheyidayirikkum idokke. Ready? X acquired 100% of equity of Y on 31st March 23. The PZ comprise. This is a good question, by the way. Ready? It requires, sorry, it comprise immediate PZ and contingent consideration and deferred consideration type of question. Maybe this was not I discussed in classroom, but yeah, let's see. 100% investment number purchase yan. PZ comprises 100 lakh immediate payment and 3 further payment. 3 further payment at 5 lakh if return on equity exceed 20% in each of 3 years. അതായത് in coming years return on equity more than 20% ആവുകയാണ് എങ്കിൽ we will pay you. So this is called as contingent consideration. കണ്ടിജന്റ് കൺസിഡറേഷൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും കണ്ടീഷനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പേയ്മെന്റ് കൊടുക്കാമെന്ന് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിനെയാണ് കണ്ടിജന്റ് കൺസിഡറേഷൻ. മാത്രമല്ല ഇത് അറ്റ് എ ടൈമിൽ ഡെഫേർഡ് കൺസിഡറേഷൻ ആണ്. കാരണം ഇന്നല്ല പേയ്മെന്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്, ഇയർ 1ന്റെ എൻഡിൽ, 2ന്റെ എൻഡിൽ, 3ന്റെ എൻഡിൽ. സോ അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ വാട്ട് ഈസ് എ ടോട്ടൽ പി സി? ഇതിനാവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള നോളജ് ഞാൻ ഇവിടെ എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. പി സി കംപ്രൈസ് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ് പേയ്മെന്റ് ആൻഡ് ഡെഫേർഡ് കൺസിഡറേഷൻ വിച്ച് ഇസ് കണ്ടിജന്റ് ടു ഫ്യൂച്ചർ കണ്ടീഷൻ. സോ അപ്പോൾ കണ്ടിജന്റ് കൺസിഡറേഷൻ വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ ഫെയർ വാല്യൂ നമ്മൾ എസ്റ്റിമേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. ഫെയർ വാല്യൂ അത് പേയ്മെന്റ് നടത്തുന്നത് ഭാവിയിലായതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അതിന്റെ പ്രസന്റ് വാല്യൂ കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. സോ ഇവിടെ ഫെയർ വാല്യൂ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് സെപ്പറേറ്റ് ആയിട്ടൊന്നും തന്നിട്ടില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ട് 5 തന്നെയാണ് ഫെയർ വാല്യൂ. സോ ഇൻ ഷോർട്ട് so we have to calculate like this: 100 lakh paying now plus 5 lakh paying in future. For that we have to calculate the present value. For that the interest discount rate is 20%. So since it's an equal cash flow for 3 years, you can take cumulative present value factor. Once you multiply cumulative present value factor for 3 years into 5 lakh plus 100 lakh, then this will be the answer. Ready? You can check it. Clear? Option B is the correct answer. So this is a good question. You have to note it. Clear? That's it. Now K absorb B and shares are issued by K using swap ratio 3:7. Swap means simply we exchanging shares. Ready? So here we issuing, that means K is issuing 3 shares for every 7 shares of B Limited. 7 shares of B Limited. Clear? Face value of shares for both the companies 10 and intrinsic value of K, acquirer, K is acquirer 14, and the shares in acquiree is 70,000. So what is the total PC? Remember, in this case PC in shares will be calculated as symbol. What is their shares divided by 70 into 3 will get 30,000. Now PC in amount symbol 30,000 into what is the acquirer intrinsic value 40, which is 4,20,000. 4,20,000 is answer. Clear? That's it. Now A Limited acquires on 80% of B Limited for 560. That's a cost of investment. Net assets minus liability. Net asset we have 800 and NC is measured at fair value. What is a GOBP? What is a GOBI we have? Ready? So cost of investment is 560 plus NCI, which is fair value based item. So which will be calculated 560 divided by 80 into 20. 560 divided by 80 into 20 will get 140. So minus net asset, which is 800. Ready? So 100 is a GOBI we have. Ready? Clear? That's it. Clear? Okay, that's it. Okay, now ready? Now the similar kind of question, I'm not doing this kind of question which is exactly same kind of question, you do it. Ready? Now then we have some theoretical question, I'm not reading it, so you just do it. Ready? Okay, now we have this question, I'll read it. Ganga Limited purchased at 30%. 30% means associate we will account based on equity method. Ready? 2,50,000. So that's the cost of investment. On that day, their shareholders equity, that means net asset is 2 lakh. The carrying amount of identifiable net asset is equal to this book value. 5 lakh ആണ് അവിടുത്തെ net asset. Ganga correctly report this significant influence using equity method. Both the company have year end 31st March. For the year end, first year end, Sagar reported a net income. So 1,50,000 share of profit നമ്മൾ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റിന്റെ കൂടെ ആഡ് ചെയ്യും കൺസോളിഡേറ്റഡ് ബുക്കിൽ ആൻഡ് പെയ്ഡ് എ ടോട്ടൽ. ബട്ട് ഡിവിഡൻഡ് കൊടുത്താൽ അത് കുറയ്ക്കും. കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ദ എമൗണ്ട് ഓഫ് investment in on 31st March. So which will be calculated as carrying amount on opening date 2,50,000 plus share of profit minus share of dividend. Then we will get this 2,83,000, which is very easy. Clear? You can check out the answers. Ready? Okay. Now we have similar type of question, just like cost of investment തരും, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നെറ്റ് അസറ്റ് തരും, ഗുഡ്വില്ലോ ഗോബിയോ ഒക്കെ കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്. സെയിം കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്. ഐ എം നോട്ട് ഡൂയിങ് ഇറ്റ്. സോ ഇത് നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യേണ്ട ഓൾറെഡി നമ്മൾ ചെയ്ത 64th ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണത്. റെഡി? സോറി, 64 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ സെയിം നമ്മൾ റിപ്പീറ്റിംഗ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണെന്നാണ് ഞാൻ മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നത്. ബട്ട് എമൗണ്ട് മാറ്റുണ്ട്. റെഡി? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. Now the same kind of question. I'm not we done too many times this question in classrooms, and now some theoretical type of question I'm not doing in live session because I can't give you an extra value. Ready? You have the question, you have the answer. Ready? So based on your knowledge you apply. Ready? If I'm solving theoretical type of question, it will take too much time on screen to cover all the entire portion. Ready? Now apart from that, so we have, yeah, that's it. All this theoretical type of question you must revise it. നിങ്ങളത് റിവൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ മറക്കരുത് കേട്ടോ. എനിക്കാണ് എക്സംഷൻ ഉള്ളത്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എക്സംഷൻസ് ഇല്ല. നിങ്ങൾ ആ PDF കണ്ടിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം, അത് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യണം. Ready? Now here we have a question. P Limited acquires 3/4 means 75% shares at a consideration of 25 lakh, payable by issue of shares of 10, market price 30, and exchange debentures of Q by P Limited. അതായത് നമ്മൾ ഡിബഞ്ചർ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യുമല്ലോ, 2 lakh ആണ്. നെറ്റ് അസറ്റ് ഇതാണ് 27 lakh ആണ് at fair value. NCI fair value method ആണ്. Transaction cost borne by P Limited 20. Transaction cost means liquidation expense. ഇതിനനുസരിച്ചിട്ട് ഗുഡ്വില്ല് കൂടും, നമുക്കറിയാം. ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ കോസ്റ്റ് അതായത് ലിക്വിഡേഷൻ എക്സ്പെൻസ് ആരാ ബെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്? അക്വയർ ആണ് ബെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഇനി ഇൻ കൺസോളിഡേറ്റഡ് സെറ്റ് ഓഫ് അക്കൗണ്ട്സ് ഏതാണ് ശരി? ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ഈസ് ഡെബിറ്റ്. ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് അല്ലല്ലോ ഡെബിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക, നമ്മൾ അസറ്റ്സ് അല്ലേ, നെറ്റ് അസറ്റ് അല്ലേ ഡെബിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. എത്രയാണ്? ഫെയർ വാല്യൂ 26. നമ്മൾ കൺസോളിഡേറ്റഡ് ബുക്കിൽ എന്താ എൻട്രി ചെയ്ത? അസറ്റ്സ് അറ്റ് ഫെയർ വാല്യൂ ടു ലാബിലിറ്റി ടു PZ ഡിഫറൻസ് ഗുഡ്വിൽ ഓർ ഗോബി. ദിസ് വി റെക്കോർഡിംഗ് ഇൻ കൺസോളിഡേറ്റഡ് ബുക്ക്. ഇൻ സെപ്പറേറ്റ് ബുക്ക് ദിസ് ഇസ് ഓക്കെ. Ready? But in consolidated book option C is the correct answer. Clear? That's it. Ready? Now we have some NBFC questions, so you just read it. So ഇത് നമ്മുടെ മെറ്റീരിയലിന്റെ പാർട്ടാണ്. റെഡി? മെറ്റീരിയലിന്റെ ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് റെഫർ ചെയ്യുക. ക്ലിയർ? ഞാൻ വായിക്കുന്നില്ല. ക്ലിയർ? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. യൂഷ്വലി ഇനി നമ്മുടെ എക്സ്ക്ലൂസീവ് തിയറി ടൈപ്പ് ചാപ്റ്റർ ആയ റീസെന്റ് ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് ഇൻ ഫൈനാൻഷ്യൽ റിപ്പോർട്ടിംഗ്, ഗവൺമെന്റ് അക്കൗണ്ടിംഗ് ആണുള്ളത്. അതിലെ തിയറി ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്, ഒരുപാട് തിയറി ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. ഞാൻ മാക്സിമം ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് പെറുക്കി എടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. നിങ്ങളത് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. റെഡി? അത് വായിച്ചു നോക്കണം, ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് ഓടിച്ചു പോവാ. റെഡി? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. എന്നിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ട്രിക്ക് ആയതുള്ളത് ഒന്ന് മാർക്ക് ചെയ്ത് വെക്കുക എക്സാമിന്റെ തലേ ദിവസം നോക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്. റെഡി? ഇനി ഇതിൽ പ്രോബ്ലം ടൈപ്പ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കുന്ന 1-2 പാർട്ട് ഉണ്ട്. ഒന്ന് മാർക്കറ്റ് വാല്യൂ ആഡഡ് ടൈപ്പ് ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. റെഡി? മാർക്കറ്റ് വാല്യൂ ആഡഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ടോട്ടൽ കമ്പനിയുടെ മാർക്കറ്റ് വാല്യൂ മൈനസ് ബുക്ക് വാല്യൂ ഓഫ് അസറ്റ്സ്. റെഡി? ഇതില് net asset, market value of net asset minus book value of net asset, so which is market value added. Ready? That means നമ്മുടെ ബുക്കിലെ നെറ്റ് അസറ്റിനേക്കാൾ കൂടുതൽ എന്താണ് എൻ്റെ മാർക്കറ്റ് ക്യാപിറ്റലൈസേഷൻ, അതാണ്. അത് കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യൽ എങ്ങനെയാണെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ ഇതാണ് നിലവിലുള്ള ബുക്കിലെ വാല്യൂ, അതായത് ബുക്കിലെ നെറ്റ് അസറ്റ് ഇതാണ്, അതായത് 300 plus 100 plus 800 plus 300. So we'll get 1500. That's a book value of net asset. ഇനി currently listed market price in stock exchange, equity shares 60 ആണ്, preference shares 90 ആണ്, debentures. അപ്പോൾ എന്താ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം, ആദ്യം മാർക്കറ്റ് വാല്യൂ കാണണം. അതെങ്ങനെയാണ് കാണാമെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചാൽ ഇപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ എത്ര ഷെയർസ് അല്ലേ, 300 divided by 10, 30 shares. So 30 shares into 60 plus ഇനി preference shares എത്രയല്ലത് 100 divided by 100, that means 1 CR into എത്രയാടാ അതിൻ്റെത് 90 പ്ലസ് ഡിബഞ്ചർ അടുത്ത സെക്യൂരിറ്റി അത് 800 divided by 100, 8 securities, 8 crore into 95. So How much is the total? You just check it. 30 into 60 plus 90 plus 95 into 8. So you'll get 2650. So market value added will be 2650 minus 1500. That's a book value. You'll get 1150. Option C is the correct answer. Clear? Now CSR. In CSR, remember section 135 related question, they will test you on a problem based either in CFR or in law. Ready? So the provision is, if in last financial year, if net worth more than 500 CR avanengil, or turnover more than 1000 CR, or net profit for more than 5 CR. This last financial year cross in the company applicable CSR applicable, right? That's it. Now once applicable last 3 financial year in day average net profit idinte 2% നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം, സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യണം. പക്ഷേ ഞാനും സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന കമ്പനിയാണ്. അപ്പം ഞാൻ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് 2 വർഷമേ ആയിട്ടുള്ളൂ എങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ എത്രയാണോ ആയത് അതിൻ്റെ ആവറേജ് ആണ് എടുക്കേണ്ടത്. റെഡി? ഇതാണ് സെക്ഷൻ 135ന്റെ ലേറ്റസ്റ്റ് അമെൻഡഡ് പാർട്ട്. ഇത് വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാനുള്ളത്. ഇൻ 1920 രാജേഷ് ഹാസ് എ നെറ്റ് പ്രോഫിറ്റ് ഓഫ് 6. അതായത് 1920 ഉണ്ട് എങ്കിൽ 2021 മുതൽ അവർക്ക് എന്താവും? CSR applicable out. Ready? So hence fulfill the CSR as per section 135. However, it did not fulfill any of the criteria in it did not fulfill any of criteria in 2021. Ready? Okay. However, it did not fulfill any of criteria in 2021, 22, 23 years. So in this 3 years, Rajesh Limited is not required to fulfill CSR obligation, is required to fulfill CSR obligation, may or may not fulfill CSR, is required to fulfill only in 1 of 3 years. So remember, actually in 1920 they crossed net profit of 6 crore. Ready? So then in next year, that means 2021, they have to fulfill, they must fulfill, they required to follow CSR provisions. Ready? So out of this 3 years, they did not fulfill, which is against the law. They have to fulfill in this year. They don't require to follow in this year, because 21, 22 and 22, 23 follow ചെയ്യണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതിന് തൊട്ട് മുന്നേ ഉള്ള ഇയറിൽ എന്താണ് ഫുൾഫിൽ ആണ്. ഇപ്പൊ ഇവിടെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പറഞ്ഞ പ്രകാരം 19-20 എന്താണ്? 19-20 ഫുൾഫിൽഡ് ആണ്. ആൻഡ് 19-20 ത്രഷോൾഡ് ലിമിറ്റ് ക്രോസ്ഡ് ആണ്. ആൻഡ് 19-20 അവര് ഫുൾഫിൽ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. 19-20 ഫുൾഫിൽ ചെയ്തത് 18-19 ത്രഷോൾഡ് ലിമിറ്റ് കൂടിയതുണ്ടായിരിക്കും. ബട്ട് റിമെമ്പർ 19-20 ഫുൾഫിൽ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അടുത്ത ഇയറിൽ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? 19-20 ത്രഷോൾഡ് ലിമിറ്റ് ക്രോസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് എങ്കിൽ 20-21 എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം മക്കളെ? ഫുൾഫിൽ ചെയ്യണം. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് കണ്ടീഷൻസ്, അതായത് 2% സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യണം. റെഡി? പക്ഷെ അവിടെ നിന്ന് അങ്ങോട്ടുള്ള ഇയറിൽ വേണ്ട. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഓപ്ഷൻ ഡി ഇസ് ആൻസർ. റെഡി? ക്ലിയർ? സോ there's a correct answer. Clear? Now we have another question. Net profit of J Limited for 5 years, 25, 20. During 2021, company incurred 7 lakh and 3 lakh on free education. Free education 7 lakh. Ready? and free education, medical treatment of, and ഈ 3 lakh എന്തിനാണ്? 3 lakh spent on medical treatment of employees of company and their family. Remember, in CSR activities, employees related spending is not covered under CSR activities. So when you take your material under this, there's a permissible activities for CSR. Out of that, employees medical treatment is not covering. That means this 3 lakh is not cover under CSR spending. Only 7 lakh is covering under CSR, because ഒരു കമ്പനിയുടെ എംപ്ലോയീസിന് കൊടുക്കേണ്ട പേയ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ആ കമ്പനിയുടെ ബാധ്യതയാണ്, അത് സൊസൈറ്റിക്ക് കൊടുക്കുന്നതല്ല. ആ ലോജിക്കിലാണ് ഇത് പറയുന്നത്. റെഡി? സോ ഇത് ലോയിലൊക്കെ ചിലപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് കാണുന്നുണ്ടാവും. അപ്പൊ 7 lakh മാത്രമേ അവർ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്തു എന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. Now calculate the shortfall. So for that, first, how much is the required amount we have to say. For that, last 3 years ആവറേജ് പ്രോഫിറ്റ് കാൽക്കുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. ലാസ്റ്റ് 3 years എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ 2021, 1920, 80-90, ഇതിൽ 25, 20, 15 ഇവർ 5 കൊല്ലത്തെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് തന്നിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് നമുക്ക് ആവശ്യമില്ല. നമുക്ക് 3 വർഷം അതിന്റെ ആവറേജ് എടുക്കുമ്പോൾ 20 ആയിരിക്കും കിട്ടുക, കാരണം മിഡ് 20 ആണ്. ക്ലിയർ? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. സോ നൗ 20, അതിന്റെ 2% ആണ് നമ്മൾ സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, 40 lakh. റെഡി? 40 lakh. നൗ അതില് ഓൾറെഡി സ്പെൻഡ് അണ്ടർ CS ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ് 7 lakh. കാരണം മെഡിക്കൽ ട്രീറ്റ്മെന്റ് എന്താ ഇല്ല, പ്രിസ്ക്രൈബ്ഡ് ആക്ടിവിറ്റിയിൽ വരുന്നില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് എത്രയാണ്? 33 lakh. സോ നൺ ഓഫ് ദ എബവ് ഇസ് എ ഷോർട്ട് ഫോൾ. ക്ലിയർ? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. നൗ XBRLന്റെ റിലേറ്റഡ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഇതിലുണ്ട്. ഇനി എല്ലാം തിയറി ടൈപ്പ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്, അത് നിങ്ങൾ ഇതിൽ നോക്കിയാൽ മതി. റെഡി? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. Okay, a lot of question I take from government accounting and this. Ready? So ഏകദേശം 200+ questions ഉണ്ട്. ഇനിയുള്ളതെല്ലാം തിയററ്റിക്കൽ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് അത് നിങ്ങൾ PDF എടുത്തിട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് നോക്കി പോവാ. ട്രിക്കി ആയിട്ടുള്ളത് മാർക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. ഏകദേശം 200 ഇത് തന്നെയാണ് ഉള്ളത്. റെഡി? അപ്പോ തിയററ്റിക്കൽ ടൈപ്പ് ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യനിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു 2-3 ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ചോദിക്കാറുണ്ട് ഇവര്, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ്. സോ ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. സോ by that way we covered all the chapters in a very less time. I think you will be happy. Ready? Now you have to show your love by hitting the like button, and must item നിങ്ങൾ ഇത് സീരിയസ്ലി വാച്ച് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങളുടെ കമന്റ് സെക്ഷനിൽ ഫീഡ് ചെയ്യണം. റെഡി? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇറ്റ്. സോ ഐ തിങ്ക് ദിസ് സെഷൻ ബിക്കം highly helpful for you. Ready? So thank you for watching me. So see you. Bye bye. Signing off.